Hello, hello, hello. Today we have some tidbits of news from different parts of the game, and mainly I wanted to go through the changes that are coming to the Dragon's Delight event, because I don't know if you know, but I really do not like the Dragon's Delight events, especially the new versions, so some of these changes are going to be interesting. But just before that, don't forget that there is the vote for the next Dragon of the Week happening, and the choices are Rock, Bubble, Bunt, or Rastafari. And so based on what people comment here on Instagram, you can choose the next Dragon of the Week. So that'll be obviously decided very soon now. And obviously we've also had the news about Energy. Well, I guess this isn't really news, but them saying which one's coming next, Energy or Void. You know, the way they say it makes me think that both are coming. Probably not, but they've got these quick teasers. I don't know if these are going to be actual dragons. Maybe they will be. But that was also posted the other day, Energy or Void. Energy is going to be more useful than Void, but I guess we'll see which one comes next. But like I said, the main thing that I wanted to go through was related to the Dragon's Delight changes, which we can see in the DML news section of my Discord server, or you can see it on the main server, where they said, hello, hello! Next week we'll have a new iteration of the Dragon's Delight event, and we'll have a small announcement to make regarding some of the changes that will come alongside the new event. While there are only a few changes to the event, they should hopefully make it a bit more enjoyable and rewarding to play. And honestly, these all sound like good changes to me. I don't like being negative about the game, it's just they usually release a lot of negative things, but this, or these changes here actually sound quite good. So, this event will have 8-hour reset windows rather than the usual 6-hour resets, meaning 3 times sessions per day. Milestone requirements have been reduced, with the final 5th milestone completed at 3,750 points. The amount needed to fill the frenzy meter has been reduced to 300, was 500, and you are now guaranteed to receive a Joker item every 25 items. I hope that means that Jokers can appear at any time, but there's also a guaranteed at every 25, but overall those sound like really good changes, and I do like the fact that for DML as a whole, you know, the 6-hour resets have just plagued people for a long time. For instance, when I'm not on daylight savings time, I just cannot do any of the 6-hour reset events because it just does not work with my life schedule. 8-hour resets, however, make that more doable. I still don't like the reset ways in general, but I think 8-hour resets are a lot healthier than 6-hour resets, and then if the reset window happens to be just when you're about to sleep, at least that's 6 hours of sleep, rather than, 8 hours of sleep rather than 6 hours of sleep, which some people ended up doing. But 3 times sessions per day, it does mean that the rest of the event has to be balanced for those 8-hour resets, so only 3 lots of item collections instead of 4 item collections a day. But have they done that? Because, that's the big issue with the treasure hunt event, really. It's the fact that we've got 12-hour resets, but we just aren't being given enough shovels to make it work. Because, we play an entire month of this event, and unless you are incredibly lucky, you can't even get a single major award dragon out of this event. So, it can be a pain, a massive pain, trying to balance these events, but if you just do some basic maths, usually you can work it out. So I really hope that they have not balanced it in the same way that they've balanced, this event. Oh, I say that and I get an amulet, but to be fair, I was over 10 tiles there. But, it is just, I hope that they've given us enough currency to compensate for these changes that they're trying to implement. I don't know if they will have, honestly. From the sounds of it, it sounds positive, but depending on the, they say 3,750 points is the requirement, really. So how much currency they actually give to compensate for this, that will either make or break this event. I don't think it really changes, just how boring I find the event or how repetitive it can get, but, I'm feeling slightly positive about that news. But, Regarding the ancients that are going to be coming up, you know, it's going to be difficult to really fit an energy or void dragon in your team unless it's a dragon like Oira, which, you know, it's ancient water and energy. But we had Oira recently, so I'm not sure if they're going to be bringing Oira back or not. But energy, I would say overall, is more useful than void usually. Void does sort of do the same thing as energy, as in it zucks the shields and the buffs away. But the benefit of having energy, as you'd probably seen before if you've been here with Ikez, is that you can attack multiple targets at once with the energy, rather than, you know, just the single target of the void. And I use this a lot even in the arena, because for some reason lots of people put evasion on their dragons. I don't know, maybe I was going to be offensive there. I'm not going to be offensive. But like in this instance here, especially against Ancients, fire is, well, Ancients are resistant to fire, whereas energy they're not. So you can hit 2 targets and it be strong attacks, and plus, say they're buffed or they've got shields, you can hit multiple targets, even though they've got the shield up, and it will remove the shield and still deal damage to everyone. So energy is a really useful element overall. It's not a necessary element for, say, the dungeon, but it is definitely useful and used in a lot of situations. Like, if he hadn't have died there, we could have attacked him with energy and killed Aphrodite, but it doesn't really matter for this fight because we're gonna win anyway. But there's a lot of specific situations in which energy is a really good pickup. Void is a lot more niche, and I think that's the biggest problem with it, really, to be honest. I mean, overall, you can pick whatever you want on your teams, but if you're gonna make a good dungeon team and a team that does well in all different parts and manners of the game, so, you know, that would be dungeon, arena, any mini events that come up, castle events, I really do feel that energy overall is better. Especially for those dungeon tasks, obviously, but, you know, you can do whatever you want to do with your team, really, but I think it would benefit everyone to have energy instead of voids there. But we'll see what we get, and, you know, a divine ancient energy dragon could be really disgustingly OP. So, you know, there's a lot of potential there for a really strong team with an Ancient Divine Energy Dragon in there. Ancient Divine Void? I don't know, it doesn't really... It feels like a Frosk. A Ferosky Posky or a Glom. It feels more like a Glom to me. Not quite a Glom, but it feels like a Glom to me. But those are my thoughts on that anyway. I just wanted to, you know, talk about the recent posts that have been going off on Facebook. Obviously, you can check all of those Facebook posts and everything out yourself. There's not really much to it. There's just 2 dragons that are sitting there, exploding, basically. And that's about it. The one on the right kind of looks a little bit like a mutated Kronos, which could be kind of cool, but anyway. That is that, and the Dragon of the Week coming up, it's kind of whatever. I know a lot of people want to see Rastafari come back, because it's been a while since he actually has. But, you know, we'll see that when it gets there. But generally speaking, between now and the Ancient event, I said it before the Divine event came out, but your biggest focus should probably be on getting as many gems as you possibly can, and at the same time trying to make your team as even as possible, because again, dungeon is an absolutely huge part of Divine and Ancient events. And so while we have this Primal event going off, yes, I don't like the Primal event, but at least it's a very casual event. And you can ignore the solo events like I do. Like, this dragon I got it a long time ago, but on an alt account, so I don't really care to get it again. I'm not willing to play a solo event for it when I know that I can't finish solo events anymore with my current schedule. And again, depends on what your life schedule is like, whether those resets work, which is why I think them testing out the 8-hour resets that they mentioned in Dragon's Delight is a really good thing. Because if they work out how to implement that properly, and you know, if they implement it in a way that still gives them profit, I am fine with that. This, however, I'm not fine with. Well, in a sense I'm not. If you haven't seen this, we also have the Primal Habitat in the Whale Mart. And the Primal Habitat is very pretty. You know, you can see it. It shows you the gold capacity, dragon capacity. Doesn't actually tell you which dragons can go in here. Oh, it does. Dragons up to ancient. So I assume that is all of them. So that's my bad. It actually does. But you buy this and it's basically just, you know, just for aesthetic purposes. But the thing is, this came out with a new element, but it's purchase only. As in, before it was pay only, now it's gem only. So they're obviously going to keep this as a premium only habitat, but every other element that was ever released in DML has always been, you know, a purchasable habitat type. So this was just a clear, you know, push into the more pay-to-win side. Which, I'm not actually against them having, you know, decorated habitats and things. Maybe the reason they've done this is because they're saying that it's a decorated ancient habitat, but they've called it a primal habitat, and they've released it with the primal element, and yet they've made it pay only. So it annoys me, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me too much, because again, you can just use an ancient habitat to fit those dragons, and it's the same thing. I guess I just have an issue with them calling it a primal habitat, which is the only pay-only version of a basic habitat in the game. So, I guess that's my gripe with that done. Again, I want Gameloft to make money and have all of these, you know, decals that are pay-only, because, you know, you get skins in games that are pay-only, games like Fortnite, games like League, and people spend stupid money on them. But if you're going to release it with a new element in the same way like you released Divines with a free-to-play accessible habitat and not gem only, you know, things like that, and then you bring out a primal habitat but it's gemmable or pay only, yeah, it doesn't really sit right with me. Maybe that's just me. I know it's not just me, but maybe it's just some of us, but it does annoy me a little bit. But anyway, that is the new news for now. So, what do you think about these Dragon's Delight changes? Do you think they sound good? Do they terrify you? I don't know. I'm apprehensive, but I'm feeling positive. And I hope that that positivity continues, because sometimes I struggle to continue and remain positive with this game. But anyway, I appreciate you joining me for my, I guess, ramblings today. Enjoy your day or evening, and good day.